Hello guys, from the beautiful Falesia Beach. As you can see, this beach features beautiful red cliffs, but we're not here today to talk about those cliffs or even to capture them. We are here because tonight there's gonna be a full moon, almost full moon, and it's gonna be rising above those cliffs in some half an hour to 45 minutes. And I'm gonna try to capture a long exposure. You might remember, if you are a long time follower, that I did the same back in Mount St. Helens in Washington. And I like the result. The execution was not perfect, but I think it's still made for a good image. I'm gonna try to do the same here and hopefully improving on what I did there, but we will see about that. I will try at least. First things first, I'm gonna try to find a compelling composition, and to do that, the moon is not visible just yet. I'm gonna use an app that I've talked about many times in this channel. It's called Sun Surveyor. It's the one that I use all the time for this kind of stuff, to know where the sun is gonna be or the moon is gonna be. So I found a composition that I like here. Let me show you what's gonna look like, more or less. So this is the idea. As you can see, there is a pointy cliff and a tree that I think add something to the scene. That's the cliff, that's the tree. And the moon is gonna be rising like around there according to the app. So the problem with making this image today is that, as you can see, the sun just set, as like right now, and the moon, according to the app, is gonna be rising above those hills in a matter of 25 minutes or so. There's still gonna be plenty of light out, and that's gonna change over time. This exposure, I think, is gonna be around 1 hour, so the amount of light is gonna change dramatically, because it's gonna be from half an hour after sunset to an hour and a half after sunset. So it's gonna be a little bit of light, twilight, to pretty much pitch dark. So it's gonna be very hard to meter for that. So I'm gonna be going for an exposure of around 55 minutes to 1 hour. That, according to the tables, is an adjusted or an indicated time of 6 minutes. So the only way for me to get a 6-minute long exposure in these conditions with this ISO is to use an ND filter. So I'm using this ND filter, as I said, is the little stopper. It's a 6-stop ND filter, and that means that to get the 6 minutes shutter speed or exposure time that I'm looking for, I need to meter for 5 seconds. I know this is complicated. There are 2 steps. The first one is when you put the ND filter on the camera, that changes the shutter speed, the effective shutter speed, from the 5 seconds to the 6 minutes, and then the reciprocity failure of the film changes those 6 minutes to 55. So as of right now, I'm not able to get a shutter speed of 5 seconds with ISO 400 here. I'm getting for f11 an exposure of 1/8 of something like that. So we are still a few stops away, but remember that the light is gonna get dimmer and dimmer and dimmer over time. I cannot meter for this kind of light that I have right now. I have to assume, or I have to make a guess about how low it's gonna be, and pretty much like maybe meter for an average in between the pitch dark and the light that we have right now. That's the idea I'm going for. There it comes. Okay, there we go. It is what it is now, but I'm using f5.6 on the Bronica with a 6-stop ND filter. I have my 2 cameras going. I have digital too. The digital one, let me tell you about it. It's a little bit complicated. I don't have 2 holders for this filter, so I'm using rubber bands, as you can see. I hope it doesn't scratch the filter. And also I'm using a battery grip that it's not for this camera, it's for the A6500, but I checked this morning. I did the test. On one single battery, the A6000 is not able to take a 1 hour long exposure plus another hour of the long exposure noise reduction thing. So it's a 2 hours on the same battery. But there is nothing else to do here other than just wait for like an hour or so, probably. By the way, one of the bad things about night photography is that it could get dangerous depending on the place. This place feels pretty safe, but nevertheless I have someone here watching for me. She's always watching the people around me, and that is pretty awesome. I mean, adds a little bit, or gives me a little bit more of extra safety, that I don't have to be watching if someone is approaching me from behind or something, because she's always here looking. right? Yeah, you have a job. You're very good at your job. Alright, so now I'm gonna stop the digital camera because I don't know, I've been doing some math here and I think it's gonna be overexposed, and that's what we don't want with digital, so let's stop it. Okay, so that exposure was some 45 minutes, and now it's gonna be processing there for another 45 minutes, trying to remove the noise. You cannot turn it off, but I can, now it's safe to take the ND filter up there and the cable release and everything, so I'm just gonna get ready to pack up, and yeah, just waiting for the Bronica to finish. Okay, it's been more than an hour, so I'm gonna finish this exposure here. Boom. Let's hope for the best. So, this is done.